Prayer in spirit and in truth. The Gospel of today describes an encounter between Jesus and a Samaritan woman. The Samaritans and the Jews were bitter enemies due to many historical factors. Hence, this encounter is very significant and full of spiritual overtones, where Jesus corrects many of the erroneous traditional values of the Jewish culture. During the conversation, the Samaritan woman challenged Jesus. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship. Jesus answered her, "Believe me, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth." Jesus is pointing out a new style of praying. The Jewish prayer was often very ritualistic, and the Temple of Jerusalem was for the Jews their spiritual center and cultural identity. Mary and Joseph brought the child Jesus to Jerusalem on many occasions for prayer, we are told. Jesus wanted the people to understand the true significance of the temple. As he drew out the money changers and traders from the temple, Jesus said, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade." There is danger that our prayer can become a business transaction between me and God. I will do this, God, for you, and you do this for me in return. This attitude is indeed a business transaction and not prayer. Jesus did not appreciate the prayers of the Pharisees, which ultimately became a public show. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. We notice how Jesus gradually invites the Samaritan woman to worship the Father in spirit and in truth, to take a new approach to prayer. St. Paul teaches us in Romans 8, chapter 8, verse 26. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. The Holy Spirit opens our eyes to the presence of God everywhere. God is Spirit, as Jesus teaches us. While our churches and places of prayer are sacred places where we meet God, we need to learn a habit of prayer which helps us to meet Him everywhere, in our homes, in our work spot, in our relationships, in our challenges and successes. We learn to relate to the Father who is present everywhere and in everyone. May the season of Lent help us to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. May God bless you.